The universe is 13.8 billion years old. It holds more than 200 billion galaxies. Each one holds hundreds of billions of stars, and most of those stars have planets. If you do the math, the number of worlds in the observable universe is something the human mind cannot truly picture. Trillions upon trillions of planets. And in spite of all of that, we hear nothing. Not a single signal, not one message, not even a whisper. For 80 years, we have listened to the sky with the most sensitive instruments humanity has ever built. And the only answer is silence. Scientists call it the Great Silence. And this silence has explanations, many explanations. But today, we are going to talk about the most unsettling one of all. What if the universe is silent, not because it is empty? What if it is silent because silence is the only way to survive? What if those who called out into the dark are already dead? And what if we, right now, with our radio signals, are making the most dangerous mistake in the history of our species? What if we are not meant to find them? To understand why the silence is frightening, you have to understand one man. Summer of 1950, Los Alamos in the United States. A group of physicists is walking to lunch. Among them is Enrico Fermi, one of the creators of the atomic bomb. A genius, a man whose name would later be given to an entire class of particles. They are chatting about all sorts of things, including the flying saucers that newspapers wrote about back then. And suddenly, in the middle of lunch, Fermi asks a question that will hang over humanity for the next 70 years. He asks simply, "Where is everybody?" Everyone at the table understands what he means. If the universe is this vast and this ancient, if there are so many planets they cannot be counted, if life is not a miracle but a pattern, then the galaxy should be teeming with civilizations. Do the math yourself. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is about 13 billion years old. Earth is only 4.5. That means billions of planets in our galaxy are billions of years older than ours. If even one of them gave rise to a civilization just 1,000 years before us, and 1,000 years is less than a blink in cosmic terms, it would have colonized the entire galaxy long ago. Even on slow ships with no science fiction at all, a civilization could spread across the whole Milky Way in a few million years. That sounds like a long time, but the universe is far, far older. There was more than enough time, not once, but thousands of times over. The galaxy should be full. The sky should be humming with signals. Stars should be surrounded by the structures of alien civilizations. And instead, there is emptiness, silence, nothing. This contradiction between what should be and what we actually see is called the Fermi Paradox. And in 70 years, no one has been able to give a confident answer. But people have tried, and every explanation, when you really think about it, turns out to be frightening in its own way. Explanation 1, the simplest one. We are alone. Life is an accident so improbable that it happened only once. We are the only ones. A unique spark of consciousness in a dead, infinite, indifferent universe. That almost sounds peaceful until you realize what it means. If we are alone, then the entire weight of existence rests on our shoulders. If we disappear, there will be no one left in the universe to remember it ever existed. Not a single observer, not a single thought, just rocks and fire in the void forever. Explanation 2. They are out there, but we cannot understand them. We listen for radio waves because we use radio ourselves. But what if an advanced civilization abandoned something so primitive long ago? What if they communicate in ways we cannot even imagine, through neutrinos, through gravity, through something we have no instruments and no words for? Picture an ant in the middle of a busy highway. All around it, technology roars, machines race past, megabytes of data flow through cables beneath the ground. The ant perceives none of it. To the ant, it simply does not exist. What if we are that ant? Explanation 3, and here it gets truly cold. They existed, but they died. What if life arises in the universe regularly, but almost always destroys itself before it can reach the stars? Think about our own history. We invented radio and nuclear weapons almost at the same time, within a single century. We learned to shout into space and to destroy ourselves at roughly the same point in our development. What if that is a pattern? What if every civilization, on reaching technology, inevitably gains the power to kill itself and almost always uses it? Then the galaxy is not an empty house. It is a graveyard, full of the ruins of civilizations that flared up for a brief moment and went out, never reaching one another. Scientists gave this a name, the Great Filter. It is some kind of barrier, some kind of test, standing on the path from dead matter to a galactic civilization, and almost no one passes it. And here is the question that truly makes your skin crawl. Where is this filter? Behind us or ahead of us? If it is behind us, if the hardest part has already been passed, like the birth of life itself or the emergence of intelligence, then we got lucky and we may be the first to break through. But if the filter is ahead of us, if it waits for every civilization at the level of development we are approaching right now, then the same fate that destroyed all the others awaits us. And then the silence in space is not a mystery, it is a warning. But there is one more explanation, the most terrifying one of all, and perhaps the most logical. It is called the dark forest theory. Imagine the universe not as an empty house and not as a graveyard. Imagine it as a forest, a dark, endless forest at night. And in this forest, every civilization is a hunter, creeping between the trees, trying not to make a sound. Because the forest is full of other hunters, and all of them are armed. In a forest like that, if you hear a rustle, if you notice movement, you do not go to introduce yourself. You have no way of knowing whether the thing in front of you is a friend or an enemy. You cannot take the risk. The stakes are the survival of your entire species. And so you do the only thing that guarantees your safety. You shoot first. You destroy the source of the sound before it can destroy you. That is why the universe is silent, not because it is empty, but because everyone in it has understood one simple rule. The one who calls out dies. Every intelligent civilization sooner or later arrives at this conclusion, that the safest thing is to hide, to go quiet, to turn off the lights, to never reveal your existence to anyone, ever. Those who understood this survived, and they stay silent. And those who did not, those who naively shouted into the dark, "We are here, we want to be friends," they are long gone, hunted down and destroyed by the ones who stayed hidden. And now, the most uncomfortable part of this whole story. What do we do? Since 1974, humanity has been deliberately sending signals into space. We transmitted a radio message from the Arecibo Observatory straight at a cluster of stars, telling them where we are, what we look like, how many of us there are. We launched golden records on the Voyager probes with a map showing the location of our sun, with recordings of our children's voices. Right now, as you watch this video, our television and radio signals are spreading out from Earth in all directions at the speed of light. The sphere of our noise is already more than 100 light years across. We are the brightest, loudest object in this part of the galaxy. In a dark forest, where everyone else has gone silent and quiet, we stand in the middle of a clearing, waving a torch and shouting at the top of our lungs. The great physicist Stephen Hawking warned about this directly before his death. He said that answering a potential contact could be too dangerous, that if they come to us, it will not be like a meeting of friends. It will be like the meeting of the native peoples of America with Columbus. And that, as we know, did not end well for the ones who were here first. He said we should be quieter, and we only grow louder. Now, let us turn this thought one more time. Because there is a version more frightening than silence, what if they already know about us? Think about it. If there is a civilization in the galaxy 1,000,000 years older than ours, and statistically there should be, then for it, discovering a young planet with life is no harder than it is for us to notice a campfire in the dark. They would have had the time. They would have technologies that, to us, would be indistinguishable from magic. And if such a civilization exists and follows the logic of the dark forest, it will not come to say hello. It will watch, silently, from a distance, gathering information, deciding one single question. Does this young species pose a threat in the future or not? Scientists seriously discuss an idea called the zoo hypothesis. The idea is simple and unsettling because of it. What if advanced civilizations know about us, but deliberately do not interfere? What if they observe us the way we observe animals in a nature reserve, never stepping out of the shadows, never disturbing the natural course of things, just watching? In this version, the silence is not emptiness and not death. It is quarantine, a glass wall around our planet that we cannot see but that is there. We have been left alone as long as we are interesting, as long as we have not crossed a certain line. We are used to thinking that contact is a dream, the ending of every science fiction film, the moment of triumph when humanity is finally not alone. But what if contact is not the beginning of a new era, but the end of ours? Remember every time in the history of our own planet when a more advanced civilization met a less advanced one. Every time, without a single exception. How did it end for the ones who were weaker? Disease, enslavement, disappearance. Not because the newcomers were necessarily evil, but simply because the difference in power was too great. Intentions do not matter when one side can erase the other without even noticing. Now imagine that same difference, but not between two peoples of one planet, between us and those who are millions of years older than us. To them, we are not equals. We are not even opponents. We are ants in a clearing, and we have just started to shout. But let us be honest. I have told you the darkest versions. And now, before you turn off the lights and become afraid to look at the stars, let us turn all of this around, because the silence has another explanation, and it may be no less plausible. What if we are simply early? The universe is 13.8 billion years old, yes. But the first generations of stars were made almost entirely of hydrogen and helium. The heavy elements, carbon, oxygen, iron, everything that we and our planets are made of, only appeared once the first stars lived their lives and exploded, scattering their contents across the cosmos. That took billions of years. By some calculations, Earth and the life on it appeared fairly early by cosmic standards. The peak of habitable planet formation is still ahead, billions of years from now, which means we may not be the last and not alone. We may be the first. Think about that. Someone has to be first. In the endless game of the cosmos, someone makes the first move. What if it is us? What if that ancient civilization everyone dreams about and fears is us ourselves in our own distant future? What if in a million years it is our own descendants who become that mysterious force that young planets search for in the sky? Then the silence is not a threat. It is a blank page. It is a galaxy waiting for someone to write the first line on it. And maybe that honor has fallen to us. And even the dark forest theory has a weak spot. It assumes that everyone fears everyone, that fear is the only logic of intelligence. But look at ourselves. We are the only example of intelligent life we know of. And what did we do? The moment we learned to speak to the cosmos, we sent golden records with the music of Bach and recordings of children's laughter. We drew a map to our home and put it in a bottle that we threw into the cosmic ocean, not as a challenge, but as an invitation, as an outstretched hand. Maybe we are naive, or maybe we are the only ones who have not yet forgotten how to hope. And maybe, somewhere out there, there is someone just as naive who also decided that an outstretched hand is better than a loaded gun.
So which of these is true? The honest answer is, we do not know. No one knows. The Fermi Paradox has gone unanswered for 70 years, and it may stay unanswered for 70 more. Maybe we are alone, and that is the loneliest feeling in the universe. Maybe the galaxy is a graveyard, and the silence is the echo of those who did not survive. Maybe the forest really is dark, and we are shouting into it in vain. Or maybe we are simply first, and the whole universe is still ahead of us. But here is what matters. Each of these explanations says less about aliens and more about us. Because the question, should we find them, is really the question, who are we? Hunters who shoot first, or those who still believe that in the dark you can meet a friend? We are a species that has only just learned to listen to the cosmos.
And for the first time in our entire history, we stand before a choice: to hide and stay silent, as perhaps everyone else stays silent, or to keep calling out into the dark, risking everything, but not betraying the thing that makes us human. Tonight, the same sky will be above you, the same quiet stars, the same endless silence that has lasted billions of years. Only now, when you look up, you will know. That silence is not empty. It is full of questions we do not yet have answers to, and maybe full of those who look back and decide whether it is worth answering. We do not know whether we are meant to find them, but we do know one thing. We have already begun to search, and there is no turning back. This was What If Tomorrow. Sleep well, if you can.